or half an hour.
Recording in progress, okay.
Ours gonna have buzz on.
I don't want to record yet, how do I do south that? Pause, you should be able to pause. You can say recording started, it said recording in progress.
Oh, yeah, it's in that for a minute.
Open recording. There's no big pause up there. Well, I just did the wrong thing.
Alright, these are all stuff. Okay, put them on a corner, you have one already?
Yes, I have one, thank you.
Oh, yeah, I have one, put the agenda on top, all what I should do.
I always print my stuff out first, so I just stop here. No taking purposes.
Or do you want me to put them in front of each?
Yeah, give it to me, I'll put them over here. Hi, Mike.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Hi, Mike.
How is you? Good. You want another one?
Yeah. So we're gonna stop before.
Hi, Henry.
Hi, Henry.
Henry.
Okay. Hi, Henry. Hold on, I'm trying to stop the recording.
That's a good idea.
Well, you know where to stop recording this.
All your teams.
Technically challenged, are we?
Yes, I am very.
Well, don't feel that.
I hope they think.
Are you in Zoom meetings? You're not in Zoom meeting now.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, it said, you did say recording.
Oh, there. That's right.
What, no?
We'll be done next year. Yeah, that's all I have.
Back from Sunny Florida, no? Back from Sunny Florida. Yeah, we can have it. Wait,
I don't know.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Good job, thank you.
Here we go. It is Monday, April 20th, 2026 at 7:02 p.m. I'm calling the LMAC special meeting to order. The topics this evening are specific to 4 areas that some of which we discussed at the first meeting and or before. But we definitely calling this meeting to order, we have to focus on that agenda and only that agenda. Anything else that comes up, we can carry over to the May 6th agenda or subsequent element meetings. So on our agenda this evening, after call to order, we have bullet point number 2, which is the final review and approval of the For the Sake of the Lake educational materials and rollout timeline and communications. With that said, I sent an email with the number of materials. You have the introductory packet in front of you. Unfortunately, we don't have copies of the PowerPoint, but I hope you've had a chance to
I have
review.
copies of it.
Yeah. Oh, you do?
Well, I have one copy
Oh,
of it.
you brought.
I thought you were gonna show us power.
Yeah.
Well, if we could share screen.
Are you logged in?
How are you?
Yeah. Oh, much better.
Mary, I think somebody's trying to come in.
Welcome, Frank.
Hi, Frank.
Mr. Reader.
And Donna tried to come in.
And let's see, participants.
Hi, Frank.
Here comes in. And fit. Hello, Ann. And you.
She's on mute.
Is the file open? Yeah, it's $100. Okay, so one didn't tell me when we were ready now. So, respective to, the final review, I first want to recognize Henry and Muffy, who took the materials from the April meeting, redlined them. I am giving everyone clean copies because this was pretty much cleaned up. Thank you to Henry and Muffy for, your edits and for helping to put this introductory packet together. I want to open up first and just ask the question, in the review of the introductory packet, which goes about 6 pages. From the introduction through the test. To the pledge, and, the objectives, materials, etc. Was there anything general that you saw needed changes?
There's like one,
Michael, go ahead.
so just to make things easier for people to get to the website and to the map. It just says go to the website.
Yes.
If you go to the website under forms, that would make things much easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
In order for us to put in the actual links, which we will do when we publish this, Jennifer has to find the space either on the town recreation page or LMAC page for those links. Plus this to be embedded so people can click on this and be able to get the introductory packet, then review the PowerPoint. And if they so choose, I hope, review the town ordinance and regulations. So thank you, Michael.
They're throwing out.
Respective to the 6 pages, any other major or general?
I have some typos I saw.
Okay, Henry, are they typos that you can give right now? Or
Sure, I can, if you wanna take them, on page 1. There in the first paragraph, there's an onto the lake, onto should be one word. It's the second to last sentence.
Second to last sentence, this one. Where are you? Underneath this one,
Anyone?
Okay,
I
got it.
think for the sake of Henry.
Yeah, and then in the middle, second paragraph, there's a capital R on resident, and we use lowercase everywhere else.
Okay. Let's see. Good,
And on the. Test question number 12. I'm looking from a red line, it doesn't have a true false after it, but it should have true false. Maybe the black line does,
I have.
just,
Okay.
yes, so we're good, okay.
okay, and 18.
Got it.
If we want that to be true, it should say a for sake of the lake sticker is to be placed at the middle of the starboard side.
Not the front.
Right.
Hmm.
That, the regulations specify that.
Thank you.
We may want to change the
Yeah.
regulations after we find out where the best place is for you, but right now for
Yeah. Good, okay, I got it, thank you, Henry, excellent.
Mary, I noticed, and I forgot to underline it here, but it says one, the sentence is not complete, and where was that?
On the test, or
I think it was on the test, but the sentence was not complete. Maybe that's an outline kind of didn't.
did I find that?
It was near the top, so maybe it's not on the test.
do you want to deal with the pledge?
Yeah. As soon as I get those,
I'll find it,
all right, if you don't find it,
I will, but not right now.
Muffy is an unbelievable proofreader. Yeah, but Henry, thanks for letting us.
Slipping a little bit.
Let's go right to the final page, the pledge page. Henry, could you tell us about the regulations?
The regulations require a description of the non-motorized watercraft. So what I would suggest where we have type and number of non-motorized watercraft and just add in a brief description, period. And then people can describe them however they want to.
Okay.
By color, manufacturer, approximate length, whatever. And the other thing I thought would be good is where we've got other.
Yes.
I would suggest we say other permitted watercraft.
Uh,
Just so we don't have somebody come in and try to say, oh, that opens the way for, one of those hydrofoil motorized surfboards.
Excellent. All good suggestions, thank you. Any others? On the introductory packet? my goodness, we may be ready to go.
Just to back up a bit, maybe I missed this, but what's the purpose of putting the sticker midship as opposed to the bow?
What's the midships?
As opposed to bow.
It's supposedly the middle of the boat.
No, I know what the midship is, but why is it at the midship instead of the bow?
Well, because our regulations say that, what it picked up on was the fact that the state requires the AIS sticker to be in midships on the other side. And so we were, having this sticker
Got it.
put on that. We can change it. But for this year, it's in the regulations that way, and it's, we don't need to go through the process again.
Yeah, I'm just thinking from a Marine Patrol standpoint, it'd be easier for Marine Patrol to notice the ones on the bow as opposed to midship.
Oh, incomplete sounds.
Well, again, we're working on, non-motorized watercraft where midships might be a little bit higher out of the water than,
In the bow?
but yeah, then, because it rolls up where you're sitting in the kayak. And if you're on a paddle board, it comes to, a point. A canoe could certainly be in the bow, and we may well wanna change it. That's what we got for now. And your experience from, Marine Patrol may say this isn't working, so next year we gotta tell for the selectmen to do it, but we didn't wanna have to notice a meeting of the selectmen to do all of this and have it. A public opportunity for people to try to open other issues.
So for this season, it's in the regulations. Let's revisit it after we
I
get
get some
some
feedback from Marine Patrol, so I think I would say that it would be easier to spot a bow. Okay, because as it comes across,
Yeah,
as you move left and right, it's easier to spot, especially with field glasses, binoculars or anything like that, so.
let's see how it goes.
With registration stuff.
Yeah.
But
Let's
that's
see
just,
how it goes this season. And
that's just what you said.
we can make those minor edits or
Yep.
adjustments.
May I say something? I was not here obviously last month, but I want to compliment you all on working on this, it came out. So, thank you.
Very good that you listening on it. Well, kudos to Henry and obviously. I have no pride of authorship. Try.
Do you wanna approve these separately or take it all as a package?
You want to do it as a package? I think that's probably very easy. The next component of this is a PowerPoint that hopefully we can share. Is attached. To this and will be on, oh, no, you want me to share it? Yeah, that's what I want you to.
Is that the sake of the lake one? You're talking-
Yeah, sake of the lake. Oh, I don't have it. Is it that is, right here? Yeah, it's right there. So you wanna go back to the Zoom, yeah, which is right there. So if Muffy can share this, unfortunately, we didn't get copies made. My bad for not checking. We have $5 at home.
You have a copy?
I have a copy
I
here.
have a copy, we can give one copy to that side,
If anybody needs a copy.
you can share it. Is that a copy?
Jeff,
Stay in the lake.
Yeah, sorry, you got,
It's this one.
I can.
oh, you can pull it up there.
Well, yeah, it probably is. You got yours, Frank, on the screen. He's got it on the screen.
Okay, so we're good.
Huh? We're
Oh,
good,
there you
guys.
go.
It's a little.
I got you.
That's very.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the, there. Oh, okay. Look, good, we did it. How do I mean,
Okay, there we go.
how do I look? You need to put it in the slideshow. Yeah. Oops, put it in the slideshow. There we go. So, thank you, Muffy. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. So, again, if you've had a chance to take a look at this, this is the educational tool from the key fob gate key for the boat launch that we updated with some adjustments and changes for this particular self-study course. So it's Not huge changes, it gives the overview of AIS, it provides a few things relative to our town ordinance towards the end. But it just, I think. To me, it's what we asked the fishermen to do, and I think it's probably respected that any town resident can go through this and feel, okay, I get it. I see why we're doing this for the sake of the lake. I don't know if there are any specific changes to any of the slides. If there are, I will take those changes.
Just, for the sake of consistency, suggest if we're changing them here, we're changing them to the other, in the other packet.
Yes, in the fisheries pack.
Right.
Yes, we can do that.
And just, going through it, I was just a little confused. Is this a requirement? Is it gonna be a requirement or is it a recommendation?
It's required.
Our town ordinance requires it.
Yeah,
So we're saying that any kayak or anything is gonna have to come. So when people have people have Fourth of July party or whatever, someone brings a boat, they're not gonna be able to use it.
Or
Now,
so
the resident,
you should inspect it.
We're saying you should inspect it.
Right, but I'm not gonna have a sticker for them.
Well, if they don't have a sticker and the Marine Patrol may or may not stop them, depends on, if they're seen or not. They'll inquire why and they'll, Henry, speak to the owner. and-
yeah, well, yeah, it'll, the Marine Patrol comes up because there's no sticker, they're gonna say, was your boat inspected? Where did you launch from? Okay, and they say, well, I launched from Jim Santos. And they say, well, did Jim take a look at your boat and inspect it and talk to you about AIS before you put it in? Oh, yeah, he did. Then they could continue to paddle on or do whatever. If they come up and say, well, I put it on at Jim's, did he inspect it? What do you mean inspect? Then at that point, there's gonna be a further inquiry and likely asked to, paddle back so it can be inspected.
And they say I'm a guest and that, does that help if Marine?
Well, I mean, Marine Patrol is gonna be respectful about the whole thing, it's an educational process, but we do wanna have the boats inspected to make sure that they're, they don't have water up in the bow they came from, Holbrook Pond.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I think it's a great idea, quite frankly. What worries me is the $250 fine. And if it's not respectful, I mean, if it becomes what are you doing on the lake, that type of thing, and then all of a sudden, the people have an attitude because vice versa, that's the part that gets.
Two things.
Can I start my
absolutely.
sentence on this? The biggest thing with guests is, as homeowners, we need to let our guests know that there could be a chance for a contact. And to basically provide the basic information of who they're visiting. So that stuff can be verified. We've run into the past a lot of times where it's immediately stonewalled. Why are you talking to me? You don't have to talk to me. You have no right to talk to me. We're trying to explain this to them. Okay, it's not everyone. It's the needle in a
I
haystack.
get what you were saying, and it sounds great when we talk about it around the table here, but my worry is the perspective, you know what I mean? From your perspective, you know what I mean, you're saying that the people are stonewalling, and then you hear it from the people saying that the boat patrol guy is being a shithead, and that just turns them off, and all of a sudden they do get abusive about it, and now it's a he said, she said that.
Well, the last couple of years, the Marine Patrol has brought on more adults with life experience. And people that have worked within the services in all different shapes and forms. So with their experience, they're coming with a de-escalation, they're coming with a customer service aspect of it, okay? We don't have teenagers, we don't have younger adults that don't have that life experience. So you have people that are prior law enforcement, Department of Corrections, fire services, okay, that have worked in those services for many years.
I get it.
But, it goes both ways.
I 100% agree it goes both ways, but to your point that all their experience, sometimes that's a negative, because they come in and they get, and, you know, they might have a shorter fuse, or, I mean, they perceive the person as being an idiot, instead of, being, and don't get me wrong, I don't want, the, the boat troll to be so meek that, you know what I mean, but they have to,
Yeah,
go ahead.
We have to do this right when we launch it. If we don't, the whole thing is just gonna backfire. So
Yeah.
as a homeowner, if I have somebody come and brings a paddleboard, and we have neighbors that do it every year, they come from New Jersey.
Sure.
It's in my interest, cause I wanna protect the lake, to make sure I inspect their boat and they know that, we're worried about invasive species here.
Right.
And if you brought something in unknowingly, you could contaminate this entire lake, and I know you don't want that responsibility on your shoulders, I sure don't want it on mine, so we're imploring people, and the first version of this was you must. And I said to Mary, people are just gonna flip us the bird. I've lived on this lake my whole life. I've put boats on my whole life. In our household, with the exception of the goose patrol last year at Utley Pond, our boats never leave the garage or the shore, which is true for many of us. So what's all this about? But yes, we have to walk the talk. We're asking everybody else who brings a boat in that lives in town from wherever to go through this inspection. So why on earth shouldn't we? I mean, that's that. So we have to do our part as property owners to make sure that people who bring boats and launch them through our property get the memo. And I'm sure Jeff and the Marine Patrol will make sure on their end that there's appropriate training to know this is something new. We're asking lakefront owners that have never had to do this before to do something. If they have guests come, they need to do it as well. And make sure that this gets off on the right foot. Because we're gonna lose a lot of people if we don't.
Real fast.
There we go.
But I have to make a comment, wouldn't it be really easy for all of us that as lake owners come up with a sticker? You're gonna have a sticker anyway, an AIS sticker, one that says guests, and make them carry it with them when they're out with their boats. And it's gonna be waterproof, it's a sticker, put it on you, or put something on you that says guest. And it's an AIS sticker, it solves the problem, the homeowners inspected it, and they're a guest, and the Marine Patrol doesn't have to fight it.
They gotta collect them at the end.
Whatever, but at least they have a sticker.
The whole point here is, education and cooperation.
Sure.
We don't anticipate that $250 fines are gonna be handed out at all. They're only gonna be handed out in a scenario where you get repeated failure to deal with the regulation after due warning and discussion and understanding. So it should, there'll be some grumbling, but people should understand that what we're doing is making it last. And one of the things that I want to independently try to roll out in the Lake Association is a kayak lending program. Rather than have guests have to wash kayak, I'm happy to let somebody take my kayak next door neighbor down the other end of the lake with a sticker already on it because it hasn't gone anywhere and I'm not using it tomorrow. Or whatever, so you can borrow kayaks for guests as opposed to have them launch their own.
No, that's a great example. But
discussion.
yeah. No,
Let's get everybody who has some. Yeah.
Sure, I was gonna jump on, unless your dad recommends stay here. I was looking at the last 2 pages of the slide deck, which I think is a trifold,
Yeah,
right? If I had extra trifolds, I hand them out to guests when they came, and they would just take those, right? So that way I know that they, and what I'm asking them to do is, hey, if you see anything in the water that looks like this, let me know. I'm sort of deputizing my guests to also be stewards of the lake.
mhm.
And this is just a.
Good idea.
Yep.
Good idea.
That trifold is produced by Eve and it doesn't have hydrilla on it, so we're working on getting that.
Yeah.
We need a.
Last time we talked, I thought this was going to be a pilot program for this year and then mandatory next year.
Our town ordinance is saying it's required. We're
That's the
introducing.
proposed ordinance.
Hmm?
The proposed ordinance.
I'm sorry.
This was adopted last year, and last year was when it was not mandatory, because people were just supposedly becoming familiar with it on their own. Whether, and some people did and some others didn't.
Well, we weren't ready for it.
Yeah,
And we
and it wasn't enforced, but, you know, this year we're rolling it out as an education and compliance program.
So as part of that, do we have a PR program to inform everyone? Mary's.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's exactly.
And asked to unmute.
She has.
She has
to do it on her.
Yeah, and you unmute yourself.
Yes, she is.
She just did.
There you go.
Okay,
Move cursor back so you can see. Can you hear?
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. You know, this is a really well thought out program. And a great deal of work went into it. And I think nothing is going to be perfect. So we just have to roll this out and do the best we can with it. Because what is the alternative? If we don't have anything, what's going to happen to the lake?
Well,
So all these little nitty arguments, we'll solve them as we go on, year after year. But we have to roll this out. And there'll be lots of complaints. But we'll get over it. And we'll work on it.
Sage advice.
It's a good program.
There's gonna be bumps in the road. We recognize that. We certainly want to minimize it to be the exception, not the rule. Let's get a couple more comments.
So we didn't answer Bob's question about fire, so I wrote an article at Columbia Views, not this issue that just came out the previous one, talking about this. Saying, stay tuned. And then.
One of these is going to be sent to every household in the town of Columbia, introducing the program along with the Columbia Lake launch 3 hours. So that we are starting to communicate with the entire town. In addition, the CLA.
Yeah, we push this out, but we'll keep sending. Stuff about it too.
One of the things we might do to ease it in this fashion in a good PR point of view is to say, this is rolling out. But everybody has until July 15th, or excuse me, June 15th or June 30th or something like that.
Sure.
To come up to speed, because let's face it, it would have been better if we'd done this in March so that because people are out rowing and kayaking now, and they're not gonna wanna say, well, I don't wanna kayak or row this week because I haven't gotten down to the town hall yet. So if we give, you know, a 30-day window for people to.
But Henry, 30 days, when we haven't even really promoted it. I mean, the majority of people don't know about this. So 30 days when they don't even know, it doesn't really help them. That's my point. And what worries me is that what we're gonna do is, you know, they're gonna start to read it and they're gonna remember the beginning of it and they're gonna remember the end. And it's, you must do this and you get fined $250. Unless we have a good,
Where in the materials does it say there's a penalty
on the end of this thing.
of the regulation?
When you take the test at the end of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fine, $250 fine,
Yeah.
that's gonna stick in people's head.
Yeah, I
And,
can say that.
and just rolling things out, we have to take a quick step, I think is a mistake.
Well, you want people to recognize that there's a,
Yeah,
that this is not something to just joke about.
well, and. You know, it goes back to. There's going to be X number. And it's probably a small percent who aren't gonna want this.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about that small, because we're gonna fight it anyhow, because there's always gonna be a handful.
Right.
I mean, I'm worried about the people that don't really know about it, because it's,
Well-
we kind of, we're so involved, we think that this stuff is out there. There's a ton of people that are more than happy and probably would agree 100% about this. But they're gonna have an attitude when they hear a fine, they have to do this, and they might be hearing it from somebody who is that small 5%. And all of a sudden, they have their backup, you know what I mean?
Well,
That's why I think the communication part is so important. I'm not saying because I'm 100% for this, but I just don't think. it's-
and here's where I need your help, okay?
Yeah.
We're scaling up the communication approach. That started with one article in Columbia News that will be sent to every person who lives in this town. That will be sent to every CLA. What more can we do? Should we go to every dock and have a handout? And we'll start to get the ball rolling. Still, we're gonna run into, some people may not know it, and that's where with public relations, the Marine Patrol. And we've already talked to Jake, Jeff knows this, Bob knows this, we have to take an approach where particularly this year, we're rolling it out. It is for education and cooperation to not have invasive species on this lake. We already have 2 examples of invasive species from non-motorized boats on other lakes. It happens, and we're doing our best to try.
Well, we don't know if that or couldn't work.
Yeah,
We can't prove,
I
We're not
feel
motivated.
like
but it's something like that.
one of the suggestions of a rollout period, a window of time.
And then I think that's good because it gives people a little bit of leeway, but then the Marine Patrol is gonna give them more leeway after that.
Well,
Sure.
yeah, hopefully that's what they're going to do, you know what I mean? I think that's one of the
Well,
most important things, because if that doesn't go well, that's where we're gonna get people fighting it, and we don't want that, you know what I mean?
Well, that's gonna be their.
They're gonna be the first line. I mean, and I think we all have neighbors. And we can spread the word with our neighbors very, very easily, and they're gonna listen to us, our neighbors. And we might be able to get 2, 3 out each, you know what I mean? So I think that's where we can really make some gains on this. You know what I mean? But then if the boat patrol is supporting that and say, hey, guys, I don't see you have a sticker, just so you know, this is what you did. Did your, wherever you launched it from, did they talk to you about it? Because they should have, talked you through it, just to explain what we're trying to do here, that kind of thing.
And they could have a handout for the introductory.
Right,
You get the trifold, so
yeah.
I'm just trying to see where you're coming from. It's about this,
The test, yeah.
the test.
Yeah.
It's an awareness knowledge test.
Yeah.
So, looking at all these questions, it has a little bit of the key components of our ordinance.
Yeah.
The $250 fine is part of the ordinance and it should be aware of it. This is a test that all fishermen take, they'll be able to get.
That's what we're saying right now, it's a part of this, but it wasn't a part of this before. Or at least I didn't know it, we were finding until last meeting, and it sounds like other people weren't aware of that either, that we were gonna actually institute a $250.
You were aware of it, Jim, because we recommended it to selectmen last year and it went through a town meeting and it was passed.
I really wasn't, or I voted against it one day, but I just don't, I think that's my biggest hiccup right now, especially in this.
I think the conversation here has been very good. I think that you're bringing up points that we have to take care of and be careful, and still we make incidents into this.
I do have a separate question.
Okay, I'm gonna parking lot
Yeah,
this, and we'll come back to it if we have.
in regards to the state AIS. Okay, with their sticker.
Yes,
Last year, it was mandatory on Connecticut waters, but in Columbia, it was an educational aspect. Is that gonna
it's
go,
mandatory.
it's gonna go hand in hand with
Yes,
the educational aspect for non-motorized for Columbia waters, as opposed to motorboats, they will be required to have.
part of introducing this to everyone
Okay,
is I care save the lake sticker, 2026 motorboat stickers,
okay,
in Connecticut AIS stickers.
perfect.
And-
That's,
and
we'll do the clarification. That's all.
I got confused too.
Okay,
Last year, I would, in my world, we would describe that as just enforcement discretion. We're choosing not to enforce the requirement to have an NIS sticker. My understanding is this year we are.
yes.
And if that's the case, when you guys do your checklist inspection, somebody launches a boat, part of the checklist should be NIS scan.
And
The individual or on the boat.
giving a window of time to get it.
Yes,
You can go right to the town hall, or you can go online and get a sticker.
So can they launch the boat?
That's
They don't
what I'm
have-
suggesting.
so I think this year if we could have a little bit of leeway with that, with Connecticut, because we did get it out last year saying that, you know, Connecticut's requiring this for Columbia. If your boat is only gonna be on the waters here, be aware, okay?
I thought it was gonna be as part of this.
It is gonna be required, but
It is, following this meeting.
if they show up, will it prevent them from getting launched? I think it will be.
That's up to Mark Walter and Jake with Brian Old.
Yes.
Following this meeting, we're sitting down,
They're gonna
so
discuss
people
that.
know,
If-
this is what's gonna happen, this is the communication.
I think the recommendation,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think if we're gonna require AIS stickers for non-motorized, we should also require them for communities.
Excuse
Oh,
me.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I would first.
Wait,
I agree, Bob.
help me understand what you're saying.
You're saying it's up to Mark Walter to decide whether motorized AIS is required or needed
To launch,
for launch, right?
to launch.
To launch, yes.
I think all boats, whether they're motorized or non-motorized, should all have AIS stickers.
I thought that was.
You mean
required.
Connecticut State AIS sticker?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm saying if we're asking it of ourselves, then why aren't we insisting on it for the state?
It's not the state law, you have to have a registered boat. Non-motorized boats are not registered. So why?
That's not you.
I'm just saying.
And the point is this, the point of the sticker is you don't even have to have a sticker on your boat if you got it on your license. Because you can have two ways to approach it, you can have it individually or on your boat. And what it is, it has nothing to do with inspection, our motorboats are gonna be inspected just the same way as but it's collecting a fee. So that the state has a kitty with which to deal with invasive species. If we ever want to apply to the state to get money, we better be good citizens and make sure that the people who are on our lake that are supposed to have the sticker, because otherwise the state's gonna say, why should we grant you any money?
So the Marine Patrol should inspect for AIS stickers on either on the boat or on the license for motorized vessels.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct?
Correct.
Yes.
No leeway, that's it.
yeah.
Should or shouldn't?
Well,
Should.
Staff have been saying that they could.
last year we did this.
They could be launched.
And my question was, you know, this is gonna be a requirement for.
That's my understanding.
Because it already has been in the process
Correct.
for 1 year already, we're going into the second.
Correct.
My point is that we should recommend to Mark or the POS that that is a requirement,
Got
okay? No leeway, it's a requirement. Because I know
it. So included in any advice to the BOS tomorrow is this is a
Oh,
requirement.
no, we should vote on that.
Well, we should have a motion.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I may make a suggestion and see if Bob approves of this. I think you could do some of the things like if you're caught without a current registration on your car, they will tend, depending on how the attitude of the situation, they're likely to give you a warning and tell you to get online and get it re-registered in 24 hours. And
Which is kind of what Jeff was saying.
Sorry, I didn't mean to chocolate, it's just the law enforcement is zero tolerance, your car getting towed. You know, and I was getting pulled off the road,
The other thing is you can't get an appointment for 24 hours.
you know,
well, I think we could say if somebody shows up and doesn't have it, you got, before you launch again, you gotta come back and go to.
When you get the registrations, when you re-register your boat, the application for AIS is right there.
It is right there.
And shame on you.
Right.
No excuse. Right?
Well, you gotta remember,
Correct.
last year, it was a nightmare trying to even get it. In the beginning,
Right away.
Yeah, I ordered mine this year and it came right in, so.
but last year it wasn't like that. Last year, there was all kinds of confusion, you
So
weren't getting it.
see,
They were down,
let's
it
move
was
forward.
taking months to actually get it, so some people just kind of said, they have. Fairly new to a lot of
I
people.
just sent a tutorial out, if you read your CLA mail, a tutorial of how to apply for the
Yeah.
AIS.
Oh, I think we have to enforce it, I think what Jeff was originally saying was the potential of giving them
A little lead.
a little leeway, that's all, and
well,
we caught a
it's
second
not
time.
customer service, you know, trying to be, work with
Yes.
people with,
Yeah,
within reason.
Bob,
right,
am I hearing a motion that we should advise the Board of Selectmen, once then the scheme of all of this, that the Connecticut AIS state sticker is a requirement now.
Requirement to launch,
To launch.
or you can sticker or on your license.
right.
Bob,
I got a
do we have
question.
motion for that?
Yes, please.
I got a question.
Excuse me,
So,
we have a motion on the
I'm
table.
sorry.
Hold on. Is there a second? Frank? Got that? Any further discussion?
I have two boats.
So identify them.
Oh, David Vanderbilt, 213 Route 87.
Thank
Like I have two boats and I register, I get a sticker. And then it says I can drive another boat with that other sticker if the boat doesn't have a sticker. I'm
You
trying
don't
to
have a
understand.
sticker, you have, it's on the computer, they put it on your, say, your boater card. And
Right,
so
I
if
have
they
that.
look you up on the computer, it'll show that you paid a fee individually. But that means that everybody who drives your boat has to have it individually. If you buy a sticker for the boat, anybody can drive it.
Right,
One is like $10, the other is 25.
But you have to have a sticker for each.
Whoa.
so every boat has to have a sticker is what I'm
No,
asking.
no,
Yes.
no.
Because everyone who drives my other boat is gonna have their own personal sticker.
Then they don't have. Then they don't.
It's kind of a gray area, this is something I.
It's not.
I think I need to go
gray.
talk to the DEP.
It's not gray. You can have an individual sticker on your license, or it's not a
Right.
sticker, but you can have your license
It's like an endorsement.
bear that you've paid the fee, which entitles you to drive any boat you want.
Correct.
Or.
Any boat with a sticker.
No, the boat doesn't need a sticker. If you have the individual license, then anybody driving the boat has to have that paid the fee.
So I'm gonna have one boat goes to the boat ramp without a sticker.
Oh,
You can have all your boats
Dave,
go.
think of it this way, if you get the license for you, you can drive any boat. If you get it for that boat, that boat can be driven by anybody. So it's either you get a license or the boat gets a license.
Not every boat has to have the sticker.
If you go,
Not if you have one.
People other than you drive it.
if you
you're
show
the
up,
one driving it.
if
then
you show up at the beach with a boat without a sticker, you've gotta show your license.
Oh,
And they're gonna
that's
look it
my
up and see that it's
That's my
okay for
answer
you
right
to
there.
launch because you're an operator of that boat and you have paid the fee on an individual basis. You have to have one or the other.
But then Karen would have to get a license also.
Right, so we already registered two boats with those stickers, but I have a third boat actually. That I haven't applied for a sticker because I thought
Yeah.
having my endorsement
And it does for you.
Oh, right.
It works for you for.
So I won't get stopped at
So
the
like-
boat and not sitting on the side of the boat.
Correct.
Yes, the
No,
discussion
as long as you
relative to the
have-
motion.
Your,
The
well,
motion.
that's all the questions.
Wait, you gotta get us all in the
All
same
right.
conversation.
Chuck. Sorry. We have a call for the question. I understand the individual and he can go to the state and get any more further information. We have a motion on the table that the Connecticut AIS sticker is a requirement to launch on Columbia Lake.
Should it say sticker or endorsement?
Or endorsement,
Endorsement.
license endorsement.
Okay.
or.
Oh, and or, all right,
Exactly.
license endorsement.
We could just say proof of compliance with the state AIS.
No.
Program is required for launch.
Just leave it the way.
Okay.
We need to know what the motion is now.
That the Connecticut AIS sticker.
And-
And or license endorsement is a requirement to launch on Columbia Lake. Everybody got that?
Yeah.
And I,
All in favor?
Probably say current.
All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 opposed.
Opposed.
1. 8.
And.
And again,
Are you opposed?
Are you opposed?
yes,
No.
first of all, let me explain why I voted against it. A, I don't know anything about the state's program. I thought we were talking about Columbia's. Somehow we abandoned that. Suddenly we're endorsing or pushing the state's program. I don't know anything about it. There was nothing presented in the agenda of a special meeting to which you cannot add.
You're saying this wasn't on the agenda,
Yeah, we're
so
all
we shouldn't be talking.
we're
Well,
all talking. And it was like,
Technically speaking, it is on the state of.
I would like to point out that the Board of Selectmen meet tomorrow night. If we want to roll out our own education program, if we want to launch what we have worked so hard on, we have to, tick tock here. The Board of Selectmen have to pass it. Then we have to get moving because it's April. And if you miss the boat on this, it's going to be July before you get it out. And we'll be back where we were 1 year ago when we said, oh, it's too late to roll this out. We'll work on it in the winter and roll it out for 2026. I distinctly remember hearing that at a Board of Selectmen meeting. So I voted against this because I need more information on the state program before I vote anything. And I think we need to get down to business before midnight, which is launching this program that's up on the screen. We're off topic here. Thank you.
So again, if I could, because I don't think you can hear Ann very well, we're having a little trouble hearing you, Ann, but I heard what you said. This program now is 2 years old, so it shouldn't be news to anybody, but you are correct. This specifically was not on our agenda for tonight. But Mary informed us while we were talking about our program that subsequent to this meeting, Mark Walter is going to be meeting with Brian All, the head of Marine Patrol, and making a decision about the implementation of the state AIS stamp compliance. So we wanted to give guidance to him from this group. That's why we got a little bit sidetracked here. I agree. But that's why we had that conversation. And you're noted as voting against it, so there's two against.
Two opposed, yeah.
To oppose the verbiage.
Got it. And Ian, you're correct. We need to, the bridge, get back online. Is there any changes relative to the educational PowerPoint package that was presented to you?
I move that we, accept the, descriptive, portion, the test, and the, pledge, as well as the, PowerPoint presentation, and recommend it to, the Board of Selectmen for implementation in accordance with existing regulation.
I second that.
Second that.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I'm just on this fine, because I don't remember that originally being, it certainly wasn't on any of the tests initially. I mean, now it's showing up on.
It's duly noted, it's part of our ordinance, it's part of our regulations. We don't have
17.
we don't have the authority to change it. I respect your opinion, Jim, but
I'm just.
this was passed
Just,
through a year process of putting it together on June 17th of 2025. So, Mike,
Would it be a little softer maybe to have it say there could be a two?
Well, it says maybe.
It
says maybe.
maybe, but penalty of up to $250 per offense.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe, okay, so that's the way it is, so.
I have a sense of one.
all right,
It says-
I think that
I mean, the other thing there, excuse me, the other thing is that because it is already, the $250 fine is already in the ordinance, or it's approved, we don't necessarily have to have it here.
But the idea is to be fair, to educate people so that they, don't get caught by surprise.
another take on.
Just on 17, which we're talking about, town conveniences. Yeah, that's our.
Any other thoughts, discussions?
And
And
Yes,
Your hand was up.
your hand was up now.
No, that was this cursor.
Oh,
oh,
so I'm gonna call the question. All those in favor? Aye.
Right?
Aye. Aye. And opposed.
no,
Okay. 10-4.
If you oppose, I couldn't hear that.
No, and one, okay. Phew. These are all good. We know these things are gonna happen. And we do the best we can. And I know, meeting with Mark Walter and I know having Bob and Jeff as part of our committee now, that we're gonna do everything we can to have this be more of an ambassador, public relations approach. And still, there may be an exception to it. I really believe, and we saw this in a public meeting, and then I'll close. There are people who are against it in a public meeting until a couple of people stood up, including Muffy, and said, why are we not being held to a standard? If we live on a lake, we need to be held to a standard. And that person immediately understood, and I think changed her perspective. We bring it to a close. Onward. This is a tough one. Yes, or maybe not. We have a definite change at TRC. Did you pull up there? And that changes, the resignation of Carl Nielsen, our lake consultant from TRC. Did you all have a chance to review the PowerPoint? Related to it. Mark Walter, met with me And, excuse me, Bev, Rule, our finance director, 3 or 4 days ago. I explained the situation as, the PowerPoint indicates. TRC was bought out, it's now an 80,000 employee organization. And, Carl saw the writing on the wall in terms of his ability wanting to continue to interact with his customers in more of a small, intimate customer relationship way. He resigned and he's been working with on various projects when he was at ESS, which was a small company of 40, and now Wilcox and Barton, which is a small company of 40. He's been working with W&B on other projects, and it just fit that he has now taken on a role of vice president, and he is establishing the water resources or lake consulting arm for Wilcox and Barton. So they're expanding and growing their role. Compare and contrast, we have been in touch with TRC through James Tracy, who is the scientist who works on the lake. And James freely admitted that he has gotten no management communication in terms of what TRC is going to do for lake consultants. Specific to Columbia Lake, we've sent an email. We had put in an effective date of last Wednesday that we needed a response because of our special project for the watershed management and upcoming May and June field visits. And TRC has given us no communication, no response. So we have per Mark Walter, a request for LMAC to advise the BOS to retain Carl Nielsen. We even asked TRC to subcontract Carl so he could finish the watershed management. TRC never responded. So the request is to consider Wilcox and Martin to make a shift to finish the special project and 2 field visits, May and June. And they have given a proposal, which you've seen in the PowerPoint, which is almost an apples to apples type of a proposal, and is a little bit less expensive. So I throw it out to the commission to we stay with TRC, finish out the year. Should we go to Wilcox and Martin ASAP? Is there something in our?
I'll put a motion on the table so we can discuss it. But I'm also going to include in the motion the concept that we are now legally under contract with TRC.
Right.
They may be in breach of contract for failure to respond and so forth. So what I would want to say is that we would support if the Board of Selectmen determined to hire Carl Nielsen as a substitute, given the fact that TRC is not presently performing. And we also advise that they do it with guidance and advice from council.
Because knowing that we might be paying double.
Okay, I have spoken to Mark Walter about this. I may offer a friendly amendment. Beverly and Mark reviewed the TRC contract. There are 2 options to terminate. One is they didn't do it basically for cause, for breach. They didn't do, and we have 10 days, we're out. The second is any part of the TRC or the town of Columbia can terminate with a 30-day notice.
You know, we don't have 30 days. And we may or may not have 10, but I would say, I'm glad they read the contract, but I wouldn't do it without talking with Halloran and Sage first, because you can still have a battle over that, and they ought to go in with the knowledge and
Mark has a draft of the letter. We can tell him tomorrow, have Rich Roberts receive it, if you want to keep that in the motion.
But I think our recommendation should be that we would support a move to Carl Carl Nielsen's new firm, if the town reviews it with council and determines to do the same.
I think council should also review whether the town can just switch contracts like that, or does it have to go out to bid?
Yes.
So let me wait, if I might. Now I have two motions or, go on.
So. The asset, in my view, based on my limited experience working with Carl Nielsen, and also my exposure to all the work that PRC has done for us since they've been hired, is the asset that we're paying for is Carl Nielsen. We can get the lab, the field work done anywhere probably that does that type of work. This man is brilliant. We met with him last month on this watershed management plan. And let me tell you how much money we are saving working with him. For the price of 17 grand, I think that's a total nut for updating this plan. The way this man thinks, organizes his thoughts, puts them down on paper, is going to make this so much easier and less painful than it would be if we had anybody else do it. And Henry can attest to that, and Ann can attest to that, because they were, and so can Mary, they were all in the meeting with him. We would be crazy not to continue to work with him, setting aside on the institutional knowledge that he's gained in the years that he's been, looking at our data, but the way this man thinks is so efficient and organized. He presented a spreadsheet to us. He went through the entire 1998 plan, section by section. What was good about it? Do we still need this? Do we not need this? How do we approach the next version? It was all laid out beautifully for us. So I feel super strongly, having had this experience with him, that if we could spend a lot more money with a bunch of people that we don't know, which would also require new people to get up to speed on what we're doing. Or we can park ourselves with Carl, and even if we have to keep the field work at TRC or somewhere else, if we were Henry to get into some kind of contractual dispute over this, but hire Carl, for all the brain power he brings to these special projects, I think it'd be crazy not to do that.
I think we're all in agreement that Carl's key is the jewel of this whole thing. Again, the question I would have is from a legal standpoint, we're talking about public money. It's my understanding that the town has an agreement of anything less than $10,000 that they can assign.
But
If it's more than that, it has to be publicly bid.
This is a case of a default under a contract,
We
and
don't know if it's,
well,
Who said necessarily?
well, we go to court.
well, this is why I'm saying, we recommend, or we won't stand in the way if they're going with Carl Nielsen, if they
Right.
clear the legal hurdles with counsel and can proceed in that direction.
And they
We're not
should,
giving them legal advice, we're just telling them we would support it if they wish to go in that direction, and council may well bring up a third point, that they have to, or.
well, hopefully they're gonna realize we could end up paying double, that's all.
Well, no,
But that's a worst case scenario,
but
that's it.
But that's what the town's gonna
It's not that big of a-
the town's gonna decide that, we're
Right,
not, we're
that's what I'm
not
saying.
telling them
It's up to
to
them.
do what we said we would support it.
Right?
You need a second to this motion.
Yes, I don't have a second. Let me read the motion as I have it. LMAC would support the Board of Selectmen to determine Wilcox and Barton, Carl Nielsen, as a substitute to TRC, which is a substitute to TRC, upon legal counsel review for termination and bid process.
Well, just like under
Just
Okay.
reviewed by legal counsel.
Which is
I
Upon
have a
review by
question.
legal counsel. Hold on, Ann.
upon review by legal counsel,
Period.
okay,
Yeah.
period, and,
Okay, if we move to, W and B with Carl Nilsson, are we guaranteed, has he agreed that he will work with us? Because if we jump to the new, to W and B, and Carl is not allowed to work with us, or it's not in his work purview, but have we gained anything?
Is he under contract, I think is where she's going.
Well, I think the non-disclosure.
Non-disclosure.
Yeah, but a non-compete agreement,
Right.
but it does seem from what Carl wrote back that TRC seems to be cooperating with his departure in this fashion, so if that's again what council is gonna advise and look at before it moves in this direction. There's a bunch of legal hurdles that have to be cleared, and I'm glad you mentioned that one, and because it could easily be a covenant not to compete, but
But
it seems like they.
soliciting her
Yeah.
business, he sent a letter soliciting. her.
And he's resigning, he's not being,
I can double check, but he does not have a non-compete.
yeah.
He had already started, actually, he gave a 3-week notice and TRC Xed him that day. So he was willing to finish all of our projects for not just Columbia Lake, but others. And, typical of corporations, we've been there, done that, some of us, it did not. So he immediately then joined Wilcox and Barton, and I'm double checking, of course, legal should, that there's no non-disclosure or confidentiality, yeah. But that's why legal counsel.
That's part of the review, yeah, that's got to be.
Part of the review and part of the representations that will be included in any new agreement with Carl.
Do you have
I
a
love
second?
that.
Okay, yeah.
That they're, assuming we agree, I think there are wheels turning because we don't wanna lose this year from a budget point of view as well as a knowledge point of view, particularly the special project under the watershed management unit, which is a $10,000 budget item. So we may be able to get that immediately and then work towards the others, and that's up to Marco to determine who Bridge
Mary,
is.
I have a question, because on this, division here, when we've got early detection, rapid response. So does that mean that TRC, based upon this, is gonna finish that?
It's
Because it's
finished.
at 0. It is finished,
We'll discuss it in May, it's done,
okay,
and Frank headed that up,
okay,
and he's good with it.
so that's why there was a 0 there.
That's why we just said,
Okay,
we've already paid that invoice.
okay,
And Henry and I might have spoken too soon to say we're still on for Thursday's call with Carl. I'll check. We're trying him first and confirm that we're still able
Yeah.
to have the conversation
Yeah.
in light of all of this.
There is a time sensitive issue to hear from LMAC because the Board of Selectmen wants to hear from us and make a decision tomorrow. And I would think Mark Walter will get the wheels turning with Bridgewater.
He better, yeah,
He has a draft of the letter already.
yes,
So
yeah.
It's up to him.
so the motion is out there, so we voted.
The motion is, I'm calling the question. If there are
Did it get seconded?
all in favor,
Yeah.
with Frank second. Any opposed? Yeah, did you have your hand up over there?
Yeah.
I see it. Awesome. 11-0. Thank you. Yeah, I've worked with Carol now since 2022 and, I had also worked with previous, both are incredibly knowledgeable, according to Nansen, but Carl makes common sense and gives us good recommendations. It's not just about the science, and I think Muffy echoed that. Item 4. I'm going to suggest for item 4, that this be tabled, and I'll tell you why. And Henry, you may want to chime in on this. Henry has already met with Rich Roberts, correct?
Mhm.
And I met with Mark Walter. LMAC's duty is essentially done. The ordinance is done, the regulations are done, relative to from a point of view of enforcement or penalties, it's not LMAC's duty. It really is now the town, the Board of Selectmen, and the town attorney. Working with those who will implement that, the Marine Patrol.
Right.
Okay, so Henry made the suggestion during our little interaction the other day. There's nothing more we have to do at LMAC. We should table this and really, there's no point of discussion relative. Henry, am I interpreting what you said?
You're correct. The enforcement procedure is pursuant to code section 25 of the town regulations. The same regulations they use to enforce a dog catcher issue or a tree warden issue or a wetlands issue. So council has already given the town advice in those other areas, and council said we ought to advise in this one so that everything's consistent. And so that's the goal, is to have Rich Roberts, who's the head person working with the town now, work with Mark to work that out. In terms of the 3 strike scenario, that's a discretionary thing that can be looked at in the process, but we can't. The concept of telling people that they have to take the boat off the lake is not possible. Our ordinance only allows a monetary fine. And if they want to go in that direction, it would have to be an amendment to the ordinance and then an amendment to the regulation. And there's no time to do something like that in this particular season. So I believe that council will recommend, go with the fine scenario, see how it works this year, and then determine whether you want to do something different or add something more for another year. The free strike thing with the fine can informally be imposed. You give a guy a verbal education, then you might give the person a warning, and then you might come out with a fine on the 3rd time. It's a discretionary thing. That's why it says may fine. And it doesn't have to be $250. It can be $50. It's up to $250. So there's a lot of room there, and it's for council to advise the town based on how they've given advice under these same kind of situations to other town agencies.
And within the context of that, Mark is very aware of this. He has an email stating that this really needs to be between Rich, him, and Jake, as well as Brian All, who are individual.
And the only reason to table it is to see if they come back in the fall and say, we want to do think something else for next year.
There is a memo on file already asking for something different, but we don't have to worry about that until next season if that memo comes back. So that makes that quick. Be quick and be gone. Ordinance number or agenda item number 5. The town ordinance, Article 2 and 3 amended changes. Again, suggestion to table this for a couple of reasons.
Yeah, but we don't want to go into reasons.
And we want to just, well, there is one reason. Someone's going to Alaska in June and doesn't have the time to do the amended changes.
But what are Articles 2 and 3?
We will deal with this in a timely fashion. I think is the best way to see it. And we are now on top of the season, and so it's not the time to be stirring the pot.
It is true, Henry. You are traveling, you are integral in the rewrite of these ordinances. They are
just read the ordinance.
Yeah, to the previous older ordinances relative to motorboats.
It's
Lake regulations.
right at the moment, we rely on the
Oh, I know.
the general law that when a legislative body passes a new law that conflicts with an older law, they knew what they were doing, and the older law gives way to the new law. So the conflicts that exist between the old law and the new law are avoided in that fashion. What we're just looking to do is to clean it up at some point, to take out the things that were in the old ordinance that are now covered in greater detail in the new ordinance, so it's a cleanup job. And we just, starting, doing that at the beginning of a season only creates confusion, so.
So we table? Do we need a motion to table?
I would move that we table,
Both
4 and 5 until,
Maybe date, that's all.
Yeah.
We don't have a date.
well, until September, or let's just say indefinitely.
Why were these on? the
Move
agenda?
4 and 5 indefinitely.
Oh, we had those lights, because we thought the penalties and enforcement had to be done quickly. And then after Rich Roberts weighed in, it has to be done by someone else.
Okay.
That was number one.
But if they, I mean, rather than saying indefinitely, table 4 and 5 until, it's appropriate to remove them from the table. You know, we wanna.
We're partly allowed to say
We
that.
know, we just need a, they aren't as pressing as needing to be on a special meeting. And,
And we still need to work on project timeline.
Yeah.
That really we can't. So a motion to table 4 and 5 until.
Appropriate, move it to the next agenda.
Thank you. You got it, fellows. Is there a second?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. We're good to go. I think we're good to go. And thank you for joining us.
Question in the audience.
So since these ordinances aren't approved, this year, are we going by the old ordinances?
no, they are approved, they were adopted and became effective last July.
Yeah,
And so they're in force and in effect, and, we're just moving forward to, further implement them.
so this one here can't be enforced because it's not.
Which one?
Which one?
4 and 5,
Oh,
since I don't know what they are.
No, we're just saying, that
Force?
we don't need to deal with them, that we have an ordinance and it's enforced.
There might be confusion, but
So
That's
it.
good viewer.
It's not really an.
So it's not falling back to the previous. one.
no.
No, the previous one is no longer, is no longer in effect to the extent that there's any conflict. It says so right at the end of the existing ordinance.
I don't know what that means.
We just gotta go by the news.
what happened last June when you were devastated is what's enforced now.
The last section, and I'll read it, of our new ordinance says resolution of conflicting authorities. To the extent the enforcement of or penalties associated with sections 190-24 through 190-31 of this code, or the regulations adopted thereunder conflicts with any other provisions of chapter 190, the provisions of this article 6 shall prevail until such time as the ordinances are revised to eliminate any such inconsistency.
You didn't make it better.
It's hot, David, right?
You just have to read it on the second.
Thank you, Bob. Second,
Mr. Hannon.
everyone, all in favor, thank you. Thank you, and thank you for joining us.